I got my hands on leaked internal Shopify messages about their decision to take down Kanye West's store. Yeah, they finally took it down this morning after he made international headlines for selling a single item in his Shopify-powered store. A white t-shirt with a swastika on it. Naturally, this made people very angry and upset, and I'm sure a lot of them are going to be glad that this website has been taken down. But the reason the e-commerce platform Shopify that provides the entire infrastructure for Yeezy's website decided to take it down will probably make you even more angry than the fact they powered this shop in the first place. Because I'll give you a little teaser before I actually read you the leaked messages later in this video. It wasn't about the swastika. Seriously. First, a little context to help you understand the way that one of Canada's biggest companies and the technology that powers a lot of your favorite brands works. I've been reporting for a few years now on the icky stuff that Shopify helps its merchants, who are the people who own the stores themselves, sell. But Shopify isn't doing this out of the goodness of their heart. On top of charging for their actual services, Shopify takes a cut of everything that's sold on a Shopify-powered store. Depending on the plan that a brand purchases, the e-commerce giant takes anywhere between 2.4 and 2.8% of a given sale, plus an extra 30 cents on most online transactions. That means they would have taken a cut of, say, swastika t-shirt sales, for example. So they aren't just powering these stores with infrastructure, they're able to profit from them too. And that's not a unique situation for Shopify. I emailed Shopify in June of last year to ask them about some of the stores that they power. This was the last time I had a request for comment acknowledged by Shopify. When I followed up on their initial response, and again, this was in June of last year, showing them screenshots of Nazi memorabilia that is sold on Shopify-powered stores, including flags with swastikas on them, Shopify ghosted me. They haven't responded to any of my requests since, and as I continued to report on this stuff publicly, I learned that its executives have blocked me on social media. Meanwhile, those stores I mentioned that were selling Nazi memorabilia, they're still online and Shopify powered today, even as Kanye's store was taken down. Shopify also previously powered the Libs of TikTok store, which is where the anti-LGBTQ hate accounts sold gross merch that featured grooming accusations. And when I reached out to them about this for my first story on Shopify in 2022, back when I worked for Global News, they defended that decision. More recently, I also reported that they power Alex Jones's store. You know, the guy who falsely claimed that the Sandy Hook families didn't actually lose their children in an act of mass violence, which then led his followers to viciously harass those family members, and ultimately led to Jones losing a massive defamation lawsuit. A lawyer for some of those families told me that it is, quote, egregious that Shopify powers Alex Jones's store. I reached out to Shopify at the time, and they still power his store today. I mean, they even defended their decision to power Breitbart back in the day. You know, this Breitbart. Anyways, I think you get the picture. But look, I don't want you to walk away from this with the picture that over the years that I've hounded Shopify about this issue, they didn't do anything. Because they did. In July of 2024, mere weeks after the last time they acknowledged one of my emails, they changed their acceptable use policy for the merchants who are allowed to use their e-commerce platform to sell their products. What did they change, you might ask? Yeah, they removed a prohibition against their merchants engaging in hateful content. In fact, they scrubbed basically all of these specific rules from their acceptable use policy. The ones that prevented their merchants, so people like Kanye, from engaging in harassment, bullying, defamation, threats, and hateful content. Now, that's all gone. And they have more general warnings like, you can't do anything that's illegal where you do business. So now you know Shopify's history on how they tend to handle these kinds of things. Let's get to the juicy stuff. See, according to the leaked internal Shopify messages that I obtained, which I won't be showing on screen here because I don't want to risk my sources' anonymity, but I am going to read to you. As internally, Shopify staff were kind of freaking out about the fact that they were powering Kanye's store that sold a swastika t-shirt, COO Kaz Najadian stepped in to reassure everyone. Najadian said, quote, "We are a platform company. We provide internet infrastructure. I assure you this jackass is costing us way more than we are making from him. The band of losers that buy his stuff will not make up for the amount of damage he is doing or just the pure cost of the servers keeping his store up." Cool, Kaz. Good to know that at the time you sent that message, even though you guys, quote, are making money from Kanye's Swastika t-shirt, it's at least costing you more to keep his store up. The COO then goes on to say that it's not up to him to interpret the AUP or the acceptable use policy, which is the policy that they gutted last summer. Still, he said, quote, I assure you that our AUP team is looking at this and will make the call based on how our platform rules work. If they choose to keep him up, it will not be because we approve of this. If they bring him down, it will not be because we hate the pressure. So what did that AUP team settle on? We know the website got taken down, but why? Well, I also have a message sent internally by Jess Hertz, Shopify's general counsel, giving their answer to that exact question. Quote, hey team, this store has now been shut down because the merchant did not engage in authentic commerce. This wasn't real commerce, it was a stunt, not a good faith attempt to make money. This brought with it a real risk for fraud, and therefore the store has been closed. Oh my God. Yeah, you heard that right. Kanye's store, which sold one item, a Swastika t-shirt, was only taken down because it was, quote, not a good faith attempt to make money. I guess that does explain why the other stores selling stuff with swastikas on them are still powered by Shopify. Meanwhile, my source, who still works for Shopify, told me that internally, folks are really disappointed in their executives. Executives who, I should add, are becoming increasingly politically active. Shopify CEO Toby Lutke came under fire for vocally suggesting that Canada should cave to US President Donald Trump's demands. And he's been retweeting some pretty weird stuff on Twitter. Like this post, which Elon Musk also reposted, that implies that people now call normal people far right. Toby, as well as Shopify president Harley Finkelstein, and Kaz Najadian, the executive who called Kanye a jackass earlier but promised us that Shopify is not breaking even on the Swastika t-shirt, are part of a new project called Build Canada, which is a website supported by a group of CEOs, founders, and other executive types painting the picture for what they want Canada to be, down to suggesting the exact amendments to laws that they would like to see put in place, around things like immigration and national pride, to give you a few examples. Najadian and his wife also co-founded True North, which is a right-wing media outlet that has gotten some pushback in the past for its icky reporting. Like when they platformed the founder of the alt-right designated terrorist entity, the Proud Boys, in an interview where their reporter laughed jovially at their racist jokes and impressions. They took down the interview after reporting prompted backlash. Some of the Shopify boys have also been vocally supportive of conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, even going so far as to provide his wife with the use of their office space for her organization that she runs, as they rail against liberal efforts to do stuff like, tax the wealthy a bit more. Anyways, you get the picture. These guys, some of whom actually used to be pretty vocal public liberal supporters, are increasingly acting like the US-style tech broligarchs. And that's why, as someone who has covered them for a while, none of this Kanye stuff surprises me. What do you think of all this?